This is NBR Today. A big shakeup for vocational training could be on the cards after the government proposed merging the country's 16 ailing polytechnics into one entity. Under the proposal, the polytechnics will become part of the New Zealand Institute of Skills and Technology, with a regional network of providers. The National Party has condemned the proposals, warning that it would strip power from the regions and hand it to Wellington bureaucrats. But Education Minister Chris Hipkins says it's time to reset the whole system so students aren't trained for jobs that don't exist.
Yeah, at the moment the system relies on Polytech saying this is what we can offer. Actually,
as opposed to what we need.
Actually, what we want is a system where businesses say this is what we need. And then the system calibrates and reconfigures to meet the needs, because it's unfair on the young people going in to the system to basically be training them up for jobs that don't exist. We've actually got to connect those things better.
The Reserve Bank has given no indication of whether rates are likely to go up or down in future after leaving the official cash rate unchanged at 1.75% earlier today. In the monetary policy statement, it says while a more pronounced global downturn could weigh on domestic demand, inflation could rise faster if firms pass on cost increases. It says employment is at a near maximum, while core inflation remains below the 2% midpoint. Yet the bank still expects low interest rates and government spending to support a pickup in economic growth in New Zealand this year. SkyCity shares fell today, slicing over $100 million off its market value, as investors digested its half-year result, which included news of further delays in the company's convention centre project and lower profits. The casino operator's net profit for the half-year to December 31 was $82.8 million, down more than $10 million on the same period last year. Alongside the results, SkyCity announced completion of its convention centre project would be pushed out by a further 6 months to late 2020, partly due to the need to remove flammable cladding similar to that used in London's Grenfell Tower disaster. SkyCity used the NZX release to announce it's undertaking an on-market buyback of up to 5% of its shares. Banks have been warned of uncertainty ahead, despite the 2018 KPMG Financial Institutions Performance Survey showing double-digit net profit increases. The net profit increase of 11.21% for the country's 20 banks is thanks to wider margins and more lending. But KPMG partner and head of banking and finance, John Kensington, warns banks are going to have to be cleverly managed in the next year or two, as Reserve Bank requirements for banks to increase capital reserves will put pressure on the financial institutions to make more profits to keep up. Mr Kensington says banks were caught by surprise late last year by the Reserve Bank consultation on capital, advocating that banks have more generous capital reserves in case of an unwanted shock. Some banks are interpreting the discussions as a direction to double their capital reserves, although the Reserve Bank has estimated an increase of 20 to 60% is likely.
Now, if banks have to increase their capital, one thing they'll have to do is increase their return so that if the capital, for example, did double, the profit would have to double to keep the same return on equity. Now, that would require some things to be done to get the profit up. So, look, I think in the short term, we would see, and our partners in the survey, Massey University, would see profits rising but rather slowly. But once that capital impact comes in, you could see quite a significant change.
The government will fail to meet its carbon targets unless it does more to encourage us into electric vehicles. That's according to the Sustainable Business Council after the Colmar-Brunton's Better Futures report was released, showing 27% of consumers have no desire to switch to electric vehicles, which is a central requirement to New Zealand meeting its zero carbon targets. The goal is for EV uptake to increase to 95% of the light vehicle fleet and 50% of the heavy vehicle fleet by 2050. More than 1,000 New Zealanders were surveyed by Colmar-Brunton on the social and environmental issues that are important to them. And 2 tomorrow. The first rule of McKinsey: you don't talk about McKinsey. So why does the world's most famous management consultancy's client agreement resemble a quote from the movie Fight Club? Tim Hunter has the answer. So for more on that and other stories, head to our website and enjoy your evening.
To unlock your 2 free articles a week, head to nbr.co.nz.